Welcome back. Let me ask you a question. What are the phases of an employee when they join the organization? Also called as what are the life cycle events or what are the life cycle phases or life cycle stages, whatever the terminology you use in different IGA product you are working on, but we use like life cycle events. So we call it as joiner, mover, leaver. Joiner, as the name indicates, when they join the organization on their start day, we will provide them access whatever they need. We call it as birthright access. So the day itself they will get the access without requesting automatically. Some automated access also they'll get in the future when they move the departments, that we refer it as mover. And next is leaver. When the employee leaves the organization, we have to remove their access, all the access whatever they have in different business applications. What happens if you do not remove their access? It's a compliance issue. It will be a problem in your audit. Second, it might lead to data breach as well, because it is easy to hack the details of an employee who left the organization, because they might compromise even, or sometimes they will not at all take seriousness of what actually their credentials meant for. Okay. Or there are chances that I have not heard the stories, but when they leave the organization, if they still have the access, they might misuse that. There are chances. That is why whenever you join the organization, they will have some, signature on some clauses or terms and conditions like you agree for protecting our organization assets and information while being an employee of the organization or even after exiting the organization as well. This is the reason. So, but anyway, we have to enforce zero trust. We should not believe anyone. We have to, remove the access. Okay. So, how this will work? Let's say that employee last date is today. By today evening 8 p.m. itself or 10 p.m., you need to remove the access. That policy will be set up by the organization. Maybe GRC team can take the decision on that when the employee access should be removed or revoked. So 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. sometimes when the date changes, sometimes the next day 4 a.m. or 6 a.m. Maximum I would say next day 6 a.m. After that, you employee should not have any access, but we will notify the employee that, hey, today is your last day. If you have any information or if you have to do any activities or any work to be done or handover to be made, please complete before this time, because after that you will not be able to access anything. That's the email communication we will give it to the employee as well. Okay, so what is my recommendation to remove the employee access? Um, you can, it's better to remove the employee access almost at the end of the day, like 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. like that. You can question like, what if I'm working in a shift, night shift, for example, my date will be extended to next day. Then you should not work on last day. You just, for example, I have worked in a shift. I was supporting US project, so I used to work in the night shift. So my day will be crossing. I used to work from 5:30 to 2:30, 6:30 to 3:30, 4:30 to 1:30, that kind of shifts as well. So last day I was not at all working. I complete all my work, hand over everything in previous day. I will inform the client, I'll inform my management, and next day afternoon I'll go and uh, I'll submit my laptop to the management. So last day I will not be able to extend even. So a lot of organizations they do maintain revoking access at 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. even, right? I suggest you to do that as well. But anyway, it's up to your organization standards, standing instructions, what to be followed. So you need to take the action accordingly. Okay, so what kind of activities you need to perform as part of onboarding? Hard delete. Hard delete means actually deleting the account what an employee, I mean the leaver, has in a business application. But you need to know that hard deletion is not possible anymore. Most of the applications they will not support deletion. Yeah, you will not be able to delete. Nowadays, most of the applications what I'm dealing with, they do not have delete functionality. Maximum you can disable the account. That's it. So what is this hard delete and soft delete? Hard delete means completely deleted. Soft deletion means it's not deletion actually, it is just disable. Okay, so these are the terminologies used in the industry: hard delete and soft delete. Soft delete is nothing but disable. Hard delete is nothing but actual deletion. Okay, next, what is meant by hard delete? Because you cannot recover that. That is why they use that terminology. Soft delete means, yeah, you can recover. Okay, so next is disable access on emergency leave. Sometimes, I hear some kind of uh, mindset or some kind of way of work that if they are leaving the organization, what they do, they will just go on a sick leave and then they will not come back at all. Then what we do, we get a request like, hey, this employee left the organization, immediately terminate them. That is the request we will get. So immediate termination, or sometimes if you do any malpractice, data breach happen through you, yeah, you will be fired immediately. That also will come under emergency termination or emergency leave. Okay. Next, you need to remove all the access, whatever it is there. So what are the practices you need to implement as part of removing access? Let me show you how you can configure these things in SailPoint. So access identity profiles in your SailPoint identity now tenant, and then go to provisioning. You see the lifecycle states here. Again, I think I need to inform you guys. SailPoint is continuously changing the look and feel, or UI or UX designs, whatever you call. The look and feel and user interfaces, they are changing continuously. So whatever I'm showing might change it later. Actually, at the time of creating this session, already they have changed this interface, identity profile interface. Um, yeah, I do wonder why they are doing even. I'm also pissed off with these changes. I mean, continuous changes and look and feel instead of doing something else. So anyway, it's their problem. So you can see the life cycle states here. You can add some more life cycle states. So I would suggest you to go with active means employee who is active, who is working in the organization. Next life cycle event inactive, when they leave the organization. You should have one more life cycle state as a grace period. So for example, if an employee leaves the organization, that's it, overdone. But there are other type of employees, right? For example, contractors. So contractors, they will have, let's say, 6 months or 1 year contract. They are working, they are vendors providing services to you. So they will have the active contract 1 year. Once that 1 year contract is over, there are chances that their contract will be extended. Or even if you are working as a contractor in some organization, your contract might be, there is an option to extend your contract, correct? So sometimes this extension will be delayed. Even the managers, they will not remember that, hey, this many contractors, last date is this one, I need to extend, I need to take a decision, something like that. Sometimes even if they remember, they will not be able to do that because they didn't get confirmation on the budget approvals. So that is why they will not be able to extend the contract immediately. So sometimes the last date also passed. Once the last date is passed, if you delete their access completely, in case, doesn't need to be all of them, but some of them might extend, the contract might extend. It is difficult again to get all the access what that employee was having, right? Maybe you will think like, okay, I will, anyway, they'll get automated access. Fine. What about the access that they got through request based? Once everything is deleted, even if identity is also deleted, it's difficult to get the access back. They have to resubmit the access requests. So, which is unnecessary increasing the work, right? Even employee will not be able to remember whatever the access he or she was having. So don't think that. That is why we will give you a grace period of 30 days. Let's say end of the month you have end date. So after that 30 more days we will provide. So on the last day, I mean once the last day is passed, what we do, we just disable their account. We will not remove any access. We will keep the access will remain as it is, but their accounts will be disabled. That's it. So that they will not be able to log in at all. After 30 days, if they fail to extend the contract, then they will move to deleted lifecycle state, and then all the access will be removed completely. So they'll get 30 days of grace period. That is why it is good to have one more lifecycle state grace period. When they move to inactive, maybe, yeah, then instead of inactive, you can rename it as deleted as well if you want to have a proper naming conventions. Okay. So as part of this lifecycle states, you can either, if you look here, maintain status or configure changes. If you click configure changes, you have either enable accounts or disable accounts. So if the user is in active status, we will enable the accounts, and you can select all the sources, whatever the applications you have, uh, that source has to support disable account as well. I mean, or enable account, both the functionalities, you should look into them. If it is direct connector, for sure they will be supported. In case if it is JDBC or web services, you need to take care of them. Okay, so you need to select the sources like this, add. So automatically, when the user is moved to lifecycle state active, their account will be enabled. Similarly, for inactive as well, I'll save this. Similarly, for inactive as well. Wow, why did it close completely? Provisioning tab, lifecycle state inactive. So configure changes, click disable accounts, and then select the sources. Right. You can select as many sources as you want to. Currently, there is a limitation here. Maximum you can select 40 through user interface, but from backend you can add how many you want to. Why? I don't know even. It's really funny for me. So yeah, like this you can configure to enable and disable the accounts. So what is mean by what is the activities you do as part of lever? Disable, deletion, removal, removing the access. So we can configure it through lifecycle states to enable or disable accounts. In SailPoint, I didn't know there is no functionality, out of the box functionality to delete the accounts. It's not there. There is no user interface or functionality given to delete the user account completely. So what you need to do, you need to depend on a rule called before provisioning rule. There you need to alternate the plan. You need to change the account request operation to delete, then you can delete the account. Okay, so there are different ways. Uh, when you are into technical details, you will come to know. But yes, it is possible to delete, but out of the box, there is no way to trigger the deletion operation. Only way is to change the plan using before provisioning rule, which is a cloud rule. Okay, so but anyway, you might not need that much because as I stated already, most of the business applications, they will not support deletion. Okay, next you need to remove the access, right? In order to remove the access, you need to depend on workflows. I mean, the access what user got automatically, that will be removed anyway through roles assignment criteria. So user will not be, meeting those criteria anymore. So that's why in every role criteria, we will maintain the life cycle state, whether it is active or inactive something. So whenever they do not, meet those criteria, then they will lose the access automatically. So no action to be taken. But there is a lot of access which is given to the user through access request manually that we have to remove explicitly. How you can do that? Using workflow. You can write some code as well, again using before provisioning rule, but it's better to use the workflow. So you can see this is an existing workflow given by SailPoint even. So identity attributes changed whenever the user moves to lifecycle state inactive, compare strings, and if it is inactive, then what we are doing, uh, I mean, currently they are just disabling the accounts using workflows, but here you can use a action called manage access. So in manage access request type, you can go for remove access. And then you need to work on these filters, expressions, everything. Your technical team can take care of that. But yeah, this is the way we will remove all the levers access manually given to the user through request center. Using workflow, we will be removing all their access. So how does the same functionality can be implemented in Identity IQ? Identity IQ is a bit different. You might need a lot of coding as well for that. So again, what are the activities you need to do as part of offboarding process? Deletions, disables, deletions, and then removing the access, three activities. So same way you can implement here, we have workflows. There is out of the box workflow called as lever. That lever you can see here when the lifecycle state changes inactive attribute. Uh, in identity now we call it as lifecycle state, but in identity IQ we just use an attribute called inactive, which will be calculated based on user status or end start dates, end dates, all that stuff. Okay, so now if this inactive attribute is changing from false to true, then it will trigger a workflow. This workflow contains your code. So you need to take care of this workflow, add additional steps to disable the access or delete the accounts or remove access, everything. You have to take care of that using workflow here. So it includes a lot of coding as well. So you can take care of that. In Ident now it is very simple. Uh, Disables, you can take care of it with a very simple process using identity profiles, lifecycle states. Deletions, it's not possible out of the box. There is no way to trigger that. Instead, what you can do is you can change the before provisioning rule. You need to alter that, but you might not need that a lot because, as I stated already, deletion is not possible anymore in most of the applications in the current market. Next, removing all the access, you just use the workflow, which doesn't need any coding even, just a little bit expressions you need to, build there. No coding is required. When it comes to identity IQ, lifecycle state is equivalent is inactive attribute. You need to depend on lever workflow. That workflow will take care of it, everything. Okay, I mean inactive attribute can have, or you can depend on some other attributes to build the workflows and then apply the same functionality I have explained or use cases I have explained, like you wait for 30 days and after 30 days you are going to, you know remove their access like that, or after 30 days of removing access you want to delete the accounts completely. You can plan accordingly, no problem. Okay, how you can build multiple workflows here. You can build workflows for our lifecycle events for contractors separately. You can build workflows or lifecycle events. It doesn't need to be attribute based here. You can depend on some other attributes, or you can add a rule here instead of that. So you can build the rule, you can build the logic in such a way that, okay, if user is a leaver, a grace period, I mean, if user is in grace period or deletion stage, according to that you can take the action, whether to disable the access, disable the accounts, removing the access, or deleting the accounts completely. Yeah. How? Yeah, you can look into the end date. What was the user end date? So is it 30 days past or not? Okay, if 30 days is past, remove all the access and then delete the accounts. You can build however the use cases you get from your business requirements. Okay, so this is how we will be offboarding uh, the employee when they leave the organization. See you next session.